Amit, you can start us off whenever you're ready, I think.
Sure. Looks like Steve and Nancy's dog is ready.
Dog is ready for yoga.
For yoga, right? They love it, yeah. It's on the floor, all of that to begin with. Okay. So speaking of being on the floor, let's sit in a comfortable seated posture on the floor. And crossing your shins. Place your hands at the roots of your thighs. And actually, before you do that, hold your upper thighs with both hands and on one side and then rotate. Do an internal rotation of that thigh like Laurie just did there. And then place the hands on at the roots of your thighs with the palms facing down. And relaxing the hip joint, flex your feet a little bit and push down gently at the roots of your thighs to open the hip joint. Lift your sternum up, shoulders back, elbows towards each other. And then turn your palms up, so placing your hands on your thighs. And close your eyes, please. And using your awareness, scan your physical body, the space of your physical body, and look for any sensations that you may be feeling at this moment. Relax any areas that become aware of that are tight. Perhaps your shoulders or the neck or the hips, whatever it may be for you, while still holding the action in your spine lengthening up. Relax your throat. Release the skin on your face, your forehead and cheeks. And soften, rest your eyes. And come to your breath, please. Just as you became aware of the environment of your physical body, become aware of your breath. Observe your breath as you breathe naturally. Become aware whether your breath is relaxed and soft, or if there's any strain or holding of any sort on it. Just as you relaxed your shoulders or your eyes, relax your breath as well, while keeping the spine extended. Bring your hands to Namaste, lift your sternum up, interlock your fingers in front, with your elbows slightly bent, palms facing out, take your shoulders back, Drop your shoulder blades down, straighten your arms, and take your hands above your head. Try to keep the shoulders moving away from the ears, widening the collarbones. Spin your triceps in, and the inner shoulders should move away from the ears as you spin the triceps in. Widen your collarbones. Lengthen the sides of your waist with the action of your arms. Bring your knees down with the action of your feet flexing. And bring your hands in front. Look to see which index finger is lower. Switch the interlock. Once again, take your shoulders back and down. Keep them there as you take your hands above your head. Notice one side will be lifting a little differently than the other. Not only that, one side will be descending a little differently. So notice on your sit bones which side the weight is lighter on your sit bones. Move your torso towards that side a little bit, make it heavier, and then lift up a little higher on that side with your hand. That's probably the tighter side for you. And release, please. Okay, and then come up to standing. And stand at the top of your mat, please, in Tadasana, mountain pose. Foundation at the entire surface of the sole of your foot. So spread the skin at the sole of your foot. Excuse me, I have a bit of an allergy from the heater, so I'm coughing a bit. And then pressing down on the big toe mound, center of your heels. Activate your thighs. Descend into the floor to ascend the energy up as you lift the kneecaps up. Lift your sternum up. Palms facing forward. Straighten your arms. Drop your shoulder blades down your back. If possible, big toe, little toe on the floor. Lift the other 3 toes up. And spin your inner groins back. Tuck your tailbone slightly forward to bring it to a neutral place. And then taking your awareness to the lowest back rib in the back body. Lift it up. Your floating ribs in the front body will come in a bit as you do that. And lengthen the back wall of your abdomen. Holding your actions, refine your actions between left and right. Ankles, knees, hips, shoulders, elbows, and wrists. And relax in Samastitihi. Release your actions completely. Let it go. Relax your hands, Laurie. Relax. Let it go. Okay, and then take your hands out to the side, please, in line with your shoulders. Palms facing up. Drop the shoulder blades down. And inhale. Take your hands above your head. And once again, work from the floor up, like you just did, to lengthen the front body. And bend your elbows slightly. Spin the triceps in, which means the bony part of the elbows turn forward towards the wall in front. That will spin the triceps in and widen the collarbones. Drop the inner shoulders, where the shoulders begin, drop them down to take the collarbones down, and then begin to straighten your arms by lifting the thumb side of your wrist up. Drop the tailbone, lengthen the lowest back rib in the back body. Release your hands in front. Interlock your fingers. Straighten your arms and take your hands above your head. And start, even though your hands are going up, start from the floor. Feet, thighs, sternum. And once again, widen the collarbones, drop the shoulder blades, move the inner shoulders down to widen the collarbones, and then straighten your arms and you mount. Drop the tailbone, lift the lowest back rib up. Release your hands and hold your elbows behind you. Start by bending the left elbow behind, and then hold the right elbow, and then bend the right elbow, hold the left elbow. Pull the elbows in if you can, and take the shoulders back. Work from the floor again. Revisit the actions from the floor. Recharge the actions from the floor. And take those floating ribs in to lengthen the back wall of the abdomen and the low back. Release your hands and then bending the right elbow first. Hold your left elbow behind you and then bend the left elbow, hold the right. From the floor up, extend and lengthen the front body. Descend the back body. And then finally, lift the lowest back rib up. Release, please. Take your right hand out to the side, palm facing up. And then take your straight hand up, all the way up, and try to place the upper arm behind your head. And bring the elbow in, and then bend your elbow. Place your hand on your upper back, fingers pointed forward. Down, sorry, fingers pointed down. Bend the left elbow behind you, take the left shoulder back. Bring the elbow in towards the torso and try to clasp your hands behind you or wherever is comfortable for you. You can use the belt if you want, or you can also, if that's too challenging, you can also hold the right elbow with your left hand from above and pull it in. Lift the left side of your sternum up and take the left shoulder back and open the right armpit chest area by using your head to push the right hand back. And exhale. Release, please. Make your way to the other side. Lift the left hand up in line with your shoulder, palm facing up. Drop the shoulder blade, relax the collarbone, shoulder blade, and then take the hand straight up, turning the tricep in. Bring the upper arm behind your head. Bending the elbow, place your hand on your upper back and bend your elbow behind you with the right hand. Take the shoulder back, right elbow in towards the torso and walk your wrist and hand up your back. Any amount, and maybe you clasp, maybe you don't, and that's fine too. Take your right shoulder back and lift the right sternum up. Take the floating ribs in, lengthen the back wall of the abdomen, and release, please. Just bending the knees, just move the knees a little bit to relax the legs. One at a time, release the joints in the legs, and then also with the hands, bend the elbows a bit and move the hands around to release from Tadasana. And stand in Samasthiti, please, in a relaxed version of mountain pose. Karit, could you please make me a co-host so I can spotlight if I need to? Thank you. Perfect, thanks. And come to your breath, please. Become aware of your breath as you breathe naturally. And begin to regulate your breath. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Inhale. Slowly relax, exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Classical sun salutation. Inhale, hands above your head. Exhale, relax your hips and fold. Inhale, look at the wall in front. Exhale, right leg back, right knee down, hands on the floor. Inhale, hands above your head. Exhale, move to plank position. Inhale in plank. Exhale, knees down, chest down, hips lifted. Inhale, drop your pelvis and navel, lift your head and chest. Exhale, lift your hips back and up to downward dog. Inhale, step your right leg forward, left knee down, hands above your head. Exhale, hands to the floor and sink your hips. Inhale, step your left leg forward, look at the wall in front. Exhale, relax your hips and fold. Inhale, hands above your head, come up. Exhale, release your hands, Samasthiti. Continuing, inhale, hands above your head. Activate your thighs. Exhale, relax your thighs and fold from the hip joint. Inhale, look at the wall in front. Exhale, step your right leg back, right knee down, hands on the floor. Relax and open the front of the right thigh. Inhale, hands above your head. Exhale, move to plank position. Shoulders in line with your wrists. Take your heels back slightly, activate your thighs, and take your navel in. Exhale, knees down, chest down, hips lifted. Inhale, drop your pelvis and navel, lift your head and chest. Exhale, lift your hips back and up to downward dog. Maybe activate the thighs a bit here. Inhale, step your right leg forward, left knee down, hands above your head, open the front of the left thigh. Exhale, hands to the floor and sink your hips. Inhale, step your left leg forward, look at the wall in front, activate your thighs. Exhale, relax your thighs and fold. Inhale, hands above your head, come up. Exhale, release your hands. Samasthiti. Last one. Focus on the extension of your spine, please. Inhale, hands above your head, lengthen the side waist, look up. Exhale, fold with the long spine, look in between your feet or slightly forward. Inhale, look at the wall in front. Exhale, right leg back, right knee down, hands on the floor. Look at the wall in front to lift the sternum up. Inhale, hands above your head, and look at the ceiling to lengthen the spine. Exhale, move to plank position. Shoulders in line with the wrists. Take the navel in and look at the wall in front. Exhale, knees down, chest down, hips lifted. Inhale, drop your pelvis and navel, lift your head and chest. Try to look at the ceiling with your navel on the floor. Navel on the floor, and look at the ceiling. Exhale, look at your hands as you go to downward dog, and then release your hands once you're in the posture. Sorry, release your head once you're in the posture. Inhale, step your right leg forward, left knee down, hands above your head, and look at the ceiling. Exhale, hands to the floor, look at the wall in front. Inhale, step your left leg forward, continue to look at the wall in front. Exhale and fold, release your head. Look behind you, inhale, hands above your head, look at the ceiling as you come up. Exhale, release your hands, Samastiti. Relax there, please. Steve and Nancy, I'm smiling because I don't really see too much of you guys, but I see your dog very clearly. And he's enjoying the practice. So if you can adjust the camera a little bit, that would be good, so I can see a little more of you. Thank you. Okay, come lie down, please, on your back. We're going to do some flow work for a bunch of things, to open the hamstrings, to work the core, to work the shoulder joint. So first just start lying down on your back. And these are actually old techniques that Krishnamacharya used to teach. Krishnamacharya is the father of modern yoga. All the yoga that you do is somehow connected to him. He was the teacher of P.K.S. Iyengar. He was the teacher of Pattabhi Jois, Desikachar, and a lot of different well-known yogis who brought yoga to the West. And these are some of his techniques that my teacher shared with me, because he's in the same lineage. Bring your legs together, straight legs together, and bring your elbows close to your torso, palms facing up, and now just relax there. Like you relax in Shavasana, but it's a little more compact. Especially relax the hip joint, the shoulder joint, and your spine. Start by bending your right knee, interlock your fingers around the right knee. If you have knee problems, you can interlock behind the thigh and not the knee. And pull the knee in 3 times on your exhale. Pull the knee in. On the inhale, release it slightly. Do that 3 times to open the low back and the hip joint. And on the 4th time, hold the knee in. Flex the left foot. Relax the right ankle. So work the left side. Relax the right hip, knee, and ankle. Hold there, please. Now everyone interlock your hands behind your right thigh and pull the knee, pull the knee into your chest first and then straighten the leg. Inhale, straighten, or it could be exhale, straighten. Just see what works for you. And then bend the knee, drop the heel towards the hip. Do that 3 times. On the 4th time, you straighten, hold there. And flex the right foot. Try to, from the action of your right thigh, move the thigh into the femur bone, the thigh bone, and move the front of the femur bone to the back of the femur bone. Move the back of the femur bone into your hamstrings and move the back of the leg towards the wall behind you without letting it go. So it's going to push into your hands, flex the right foot, and there's a slight external rotation of that right leg, so the knee points straight back. Work the left leg. Now keep the leg as it is. Now we're going to work on the core a little bit, the abdomen. Keep the legs as they are. Release your hands to the floor. Try not to release the leg. And take your right hand straight up. Point your finger straight up. Flex the feet. Push down with your left elbow a little bit. And take the navel into the spine. Turn your palm to your left, so it faces the wall on the left. Work the right side, work the left side. Keep the legs as they are. Take your right hand overhead. Palm still facing to the wall on the left. Recharge the legs, the action of the legs, and the navel going in. And take your hands overhead, please. Steve and Nancy. Just the right hand. Sorry, everyone, just the right hand. And take the navel in. Lengthen the right side, the right thumb side of your wrist. Lengthen that and pull. You have to make the abdominal muscles work so that the leg doesn't move back. Bring the right hand up, straight up, and together, synchronized, bring the hand and the leg slowly down to the floor, in front. Relax there, please. And bend your left knee, interlock your fingers on the shin bone or at the back of your thigh if you have knee issues. 3 times, pull the knee in and release it with your breath. 4th time, pull it in and hold. Exhale, pull in, inhale, release. And the 4th time, hold. Flex the right foot. Activate the right thigh. Contact of the right calf muscle on the floor. And relax the left hip, knee, and ankle. Use your breath to energize the low back. And on your exhale, suggest to relax the low back. And interlock your fingers behind your thigh, please. Left thigh. And you're going to open the knee joint a little bit and the hamstrings. Flex the foot. On the exhale, lift it up. Inhale, release. Straighten and release. Continue to hold. so the hip joint can relax. At the fourth time, you straighten, hold behind your thigh, and flex your feet. You're holding the hand with your, so you're holding the leg with your hands, so they don't, so there's still a little bit of a pulling action. But against that pulling action of your hands, straighten the leg so much that the back of your left thigh pushes against the hands to open that hamstring. Flex the foot, lift the left heel up, inner left heel up, flex the right foot, move the inner right heel away from the calf muscle. Hold there, please. And now, without the support of your hands, release your hands to the floor, but have the same action in your legs, palms facing up. Flex both feet and pushing down on your elbows slightly, take the navel in. So we're working the abdominal muscles here. And lift your left hand straight up. Keep the legs as they are. Point your fingers up, left hand. Alien, bend your knee if that's a problem. Yeah. But lift your left hand up, please. The other left. Yeah. Navel moves in. And take your left hand overhead, behind you. Once again, work the feet, work the thighs, navel in. And this can be challenging. So if you feel something, release it and then go back into it. And lengthen the left side of your thumb, wrist. You can also hold, Jackie, hold with your right hand. And bring your left hand straight up and try to synchronize as you slowly release the hand and leg down together. Relax there, please. And now both legs. Bring both knees in. Hold with your hands. 3 times. Pull the knees in. Release a bit. On the 4th time, pull and hold. And hold the back of your thighs, straightening the knee and bending it 3 times. Flex the feet as you straighten. Straighten the knees, Debbie. Lift your legs up. No, same. Hold behind the knees. Yeah, we did this on one leg each. Same thing. On the 4th time, when you straighten, hold there. Flex your feet. Straighten the legs. Same thing like you did with one leg. This time You're holding with both hands, so there's a pulling action with your hands, and from the action of your thighs, there's a pushing action in the back of the legs to open the hamstrings, the back of the knees, the calf muscles, the glutes. And now take both your hands straight up, palms facing each other. Drop your shoulder blades to the floor, lift the thumb side of your wrist up, but try to lift evenly, both sides, just a little more on the thumb side. So Adrian, lift the pinky side as well, yeah. Navel in to the spine. Keep the legs as they are. Take your hands overhead, behind you. And work the legs again, work the abdomen, and then lengthen the thumb side of the wrist along the floor. Slowly bring your hands up, please. And slowly release the legs and the hands in a synchronized descent towards the floor. Palms facing up, relax. And please bend your knees, join the soles of your feet, and take the knees out to your side. Just relax in Supta Baddha Konasana. Carrot, whenever you're ready, if you'd like to share. This will be a good time.
So as this week of Shabbat Shira, the Shabbat of Song ends, we're already looking toward what's coming toward us. So we've left the sea. Our ancestors have just crossed the Sea of Reeds. And in the next portion, Parshat Yitro, very very quickly, even though it took many years, we're already receiving the Torah. We're already having a revelatory experience. So I wanted to read a little bit and share a little bit with you today, focusing on one of the 10 commandments, and on what a few of our commentators have to say about it. And the commandment that we're going to focus on today is Lo tignov, you shall not steal. It's really interesting what our commentators do with this commandment, because they say, first we have Rebbe Menachem Mendel of Kotzk, who says, what this means is we're not to steal anything, not money, not people's awareness, not God's awareness, which is a little bit obtuse. What does he mean by that? So there's another Rebbe who looked at this, Meotzar Hamachshava, and said, this doesn't mean merely that we're not to steal from others. It means that we're not even to steal from ourselves. Again, a little bit difficult to understand. So, Menachem Mendel of Kotzk, there's a story about him, about this Hasidic Rebbe, that something was missing from his home. We don't know what the thing was. Let's pretend it was a holy book, because his house, I'm sure, had many of them. So something was missing from his home. And his family members came to him and said, it must be stolen. And this is something that's happened in my house too. And it's sometimes about things that it's really clear nobody would ever steal. And the Rebbe looks incredulously at his family members and says, what are you talking about? It wasn't stolen. It's written, you shall not steal. And I think it's such a wonderful story that illustrates great trust and great learning not to concern himself with that, because the truth is, for as long as he's not stealing, the thing is missing. Doesn't matter if someone stole it or not. So we also have this verb used in a really interesting way elsewhere in the Torah. And that is between the story of Jacob and Lavan. And there's this really contentious relationship between Jacob and Lavan. And I think this is very interesting because this parsha that we're in right now is called Yitro. We're reading all about Moses, but the Torah portion where the 10 commandments are given to the Jewish people is called Yitro, Jethro. Who's Jethro? Moses' father-in-law, a non-Jew, who gives Moses some really, really keen advice. And that advice is to accept help from others and even to ask for help from others. So in stark contrast to the relationship between Moses and his father-in-law Yitro, we have the relationship between Jacob and Lavan, also a relationship between son and father-in-law. And it says that Jacob kept Lavan in the dark, is the way that we would say it in English. Like, he kept a secret from him. But in Hebrew, that phrase is vayignov, just like lo tignov. It's the same root. So it's he stole his heart. He stole his heart by not being forthright with him. So as we approach the 10 Commandments every year, as we approach this idea of the revelation and receiving Torah at Sinai, along with all of the other commandments that we're given as Jews, we tend to sometimes focus on the group of them at once. And I thought this was really wonderful what the Rebbes are doing here, just to take one of them and to really bring it to light. And I think it's very, very telling to us that that the commandment about stealing, which clearly is, don't take something that doesn't belong to you, and if we're going to read this literally, it's pretty obvious that they're talking about something material. And the Rebbe's change it and really focus on being honest with ourselves and being honest with others. And why is that so interesting to me and hopefully to you as well? Because later on in those same 10 commandments, we have do not lie. So our rabbis know that working to recognize what is actually in front of us is of the utmost importance, so much so that they are, in this case, looking away from what may be a much more easy and simple reading of this commandment and asking us to not look at others, because when we hear do not steal, we're probably not applying that to ourselves, but really to apply this to ourselves as we should with each and every one of our mitzvot, not to judge the ones around us, but to receive and look within, and hopefully to receive truth from others, but most importantly, to deal truthfully with ourselves and deal truthfully with those around us.
Thank you, Gareth, for that sharing. Bring your knees together, please. Use your hands. And place your feet as wide as your mat with your, with your knees bent. And relax your knees towards each other. Let them touch. You can place your hands on your pelvis or the abdomen and just relax there in the counter to Supta Baddha Konasana, opening the back of the sacrum. The Ten Commandments it's a very interesting commonality between different religions, certainly between Judaism and the Yoga Sutras. The Yoga Sutras have also the yamas and the niyamas, which are the basic foundational principles of yoga. And non-stealing is non-stealing is the third one in the 10. And of course, it's also connected to truth. Truth is the second. And the first is non-harming. So they're all connected, one after the other. And the purpose, one of the purposes of following these yamas, one, of course, is that it does not create harm to others around you. When you steal, it does that. But the other is also that it does not create harm to yourself. When you steal, for most people that would agitate the mind. It creates a negative karma with a negative fruit eventually. And in the Yoga Sutras, they talk about when you don't steal, the result is that jewels just come to you on their own. If you follow the practice of non-stealing, you get rewarded naturally. In yoga, if you noticed when we did the practices earlier, I mentioned where it came from, the whole lineage, and by acknowledging and taking the help of those before me, I practiced non-stealing there. And in that way, the energy moves in a more pure way than it being tainted. So one way is to acknowledge, take the help. And I say this kind of lightheartedly, but it's important to acknowledge acknowledge those who have created and contributed to something in your work and otherwise. Sometimes if you just look at the yoga scene today, one might think that yoga was invented in Santa Monica. If you listen to how people market it, you know. So it's important. It's important because the energy then flows in a more positive way. Okay. Please straighten your legs along the floor. Release your hands to the side and bend your right knee. Place the right foot on the floor in front of your hip, like in bridge, but half. Bend the left knee slightly, just enough that the sole of your foot and your toes come down to the floor. So place the toes on the floor. So Laurie, bend the left knee a little bit more so you can place the foot. But slightly more, yeah, slightly, that should be slightly challenged, that it's hard for you to bring the toes on the floor. Okay. And then grip the sides of the mat, please. Yeah, Aileen, be careful. Bend the knee a little more, Aileen. Yeah, that's fine. And 3 times, exhale, lift your hips up, both hips up. Inhale, drop them down. Do that 3 times. On the 4th time, hold. Place the toes on the floor, please. And now release your hips slightly, just like an inch. Tuck your tailbone forward, activate the glutes, and then lift the right hip up first, and then lift the left hip up. Work your glutes to do that. Work the lower part of the glutes to do that. Tuck the tailbone and roll your shoulders under. And release, please. Keep the left knee bent, straighten the right leg just enough that you can place the sole of the foot, including your toes, on the floor. Yeah, so the right foot should be slightly away from the left. And 3 times, exhale, lift the hips up, inhale, release. And on the 4th time, lift and hold. Roll your shoulders under and drop your hips slightly. Tuck the tailbone and activate the lower part of the glutes. And then lift the left hip up first, a little more, and then lift the right hip to match it. Navel should be coming in. So carrot, that means your psoas is tight. You can do the whole thing rest up with the brick under. And release, please. Relax for a moment. And now bend both your knees, feet on the floor. And feet can be, if your low back is okay, you're totally fine. Back bending is not a problem, then feet together, knees together. If not, feet hip distance apart and grip the sides of your mat 3 times. Exhale, lift the hips up. Inhale, drop. We're opening the psoas muscle here. Full time hold. Roll your shoulders under. Carrots, you can put a brick under if you need. And drop the hips about an inch or two. Tuck the tailbone, take the base of the tailbone into towards the space in between your knees or towards your knees. And then take the navel in. Now use the lower glutes to lift the hips up. So not at the top of the pelvis, lift from the lower part of the pelvis. Stay there, please. And release. Hug your knees into your chest. And to work the abdomen, pull your knees in, lift your head and shoulders, take your chin towards your knees. Work the abdominal muscles, lift your chest up, release your head back slightly and look at the ceiling. So it's not the neck that's working, it's the abdominal muscles that are pulling you up. And hold there, look at the ceiling, please. And release your head and chest, roll over to your side and make your way up to a standing posture. Okay, now we're going to do a few standing postures. So place the bricks at the back edge of your mat. So stealing is connected to greed. Greed is connected to truth. Truth is connected to non-harming. So how it works is that first, in the asana practice, the physical practice of yoga, one has to be aware of what the reality is in their body, in their minds, in their emotional energy body. One has to know and get a clear read of what the reality is. Now, when you practice asana, the physical practice, if you're not aware of your truth and your reality, and then you look at someone else doing a posture, you're going to try to do what they do. And that may not be your reality, it may not be the truth, your truth. And then the question of desire, which is wanting something that you may not be ready to receive yet, but wanting it for whatever reason, strong desire, ego, whatever reason. When you, that sets the premise for one to then steal, because how else are you going to get it? It's not going to come to you just like that. Yeah. But all of that will result in more suffering. If not now, later for sure. So the practice is to see the truth, hold back, stay content with what you have, even in your posture, work with that, and slowly, as you work, the reward comes to you naturally. You don't. All you have to do is focus on the work and the vision that you have. Put your energy there, and the reward comes to you naturally. What is given to you comes from a divine place. What you take, which is not yours, comes from a lower place than that, way lower place. So even in the posture, it's the same. Inhale, step or jump your legs apart, please, hands apart. Exhale, point the right foot out. Inhale, extend with your right hand. Exhale, go into triangle. And in the posture, try to be aware what is the reality of your physical body today. And do the posture in a way that you're able to not harm yourself, acknowledge the reality, do the actions, do your work in the posture, and try not to be too greedy just because maybe you did it better last week. And that may not even be appropriate today. And inhale, strong back leg to come up. Exhale, change the direction of your feet. And go into triangle on the other side, please. On your own. Again, non-harming, acknowledgement of reality, non-greed. Aileen, put that brick under your foot. In front here. And put your hand on your leg. Inhale, come up, please. Exhale, bring your legs together, release your hands. Inhale, step your legs apart, hands apart. Point the right foot out. Oh, charge the left side of your body. Bend your right knee, take the right hand down, left hand up in Utthita Parsvakonasana. How truthful and honest can you be in your posture? And that is connected with the intention. The intention of the posture is to create length and space so that more positive energy can flow. Debbie, please look towards the camera, please. And take the left shoulder back. You're not looking forward. Torso has to face the camera. Yes. Yeah, this is a posture we do all the time. And inhale, come up, please. Exhale, change the direction of your feet. Inhale, charge the right side. Exhale, bend the left knee, right hand up, chest, and gaze towards the camera. You're opening the torso and the hip joint, right side away from the floor. Work the back leg and extend the spine. Straighten the right leg more. Move the left sit bone towards the right sit bone. And inhale, come up, please. Exhale, bring your legs together and release your hands. Inhale, step or jump your legs apart, hands apart. Turn your palms towards the floor, pigeon toe your feet in. So toes in, heels out slightly. And Steve and Nancy, could you step your legs apart more, please? Inhale, turn your palms up, look up. Exhale, relax the hip joint and bring your hands to the floor or your props if you're using them in front. Inhale in the half position. Look at the wall in front. Lift your sit bones up. Lengthen your sternum. Exhale. If you can straighten your legs, do that. If not, just work in the half position, gently straightening the legs and opening the hip joint. If your legs are straight, walk your hands back. Lengthen the sternum forward again. And exhale, fold from the hip joint. Take your elbows back. Lift your sit bones up. Lift the sit bones up to bring the rotation in the pelvis and keep the spine lengthened to continue to open the pelvis. Don't let the chest drop. The fold has to come from the hip joint, not from the collapse of the sternum. Inhale, come to the half position, please. Exhale, hands on your hips. Inhale, bend your knees, come up. Exhale, bring your legs together, release your hands. Come down to tabletop, please, on your hands and knees. And make your way up to downward dog. And find your own truth in the posture so that you're able to stay non-harming yourself. In fact, try to create more space and length in the body, in the positive aspect of that, which is creating an action of love towards yourself and your physical body. As you create space and length, that's an action of love. Creating a positive state. And come down to your knees, tabletop. You're going to go into Virasana. So knees together. Take your feet apart, as wide as the mat. If you have a brick, please place the brick at a height that's appropriate for you. Untuck your toes behind you. Point your toes back and sit back on the brick, please. Go gently into it. Be careful. Aileen, is that okay? You can sit a little higher, yeah. The best thing to do is roll a blanket under and put it under both ankles. But if you don't have one, that's okay. Do what you can. And interlock your fingers in front, straighten your arms, take your hands above your head. Online yoga is better for non-stealing. If you're in the same room, it's just normal. Your eyes will look at someone else doing it, and then you'll try to do what they're doing. But here, it's a little better in that way. Release your hands in front, change the interlock, and straighten your arms. Take your hands above your head again, please. Exhale, release, and release your legs and come to a seated posture. In Dandasana, we're going into Baddha Konasana. So please sit on, if you have tight hips or not completely open hips, groins, then sit on something, a prop, bolster is good, or a folded blanket. And join the soles of your feet. Your knees go out to the side. Pull the heels in towards your hips. Yeah, and if your knees are really high up, then it's better you sit higher. Yeah. If your knees are closer to the floor, then accordingly you can go lower. Okay. And then place your hands next to your hips on your props. Press down with your wrists. Lift your sternum up on the inhale. Exhale. Press your heels, the outer edges of your feet. Move the big toes and big toe mounds away from each other. And bring the knees lower. Continue like that. Don't release. Inhale. Lift the sternum up. Exhale. Press the heels. Bring the knees down more. Move the big toe and big toe mounds away from each other. Continue like that for another 3 breaths. Lift the sternum up to open the hip joint. Press the heels to open the groins. And this is a good place to practice, to know how much desire you have. Is your desire so much that it's creating pain? It can. Roll it back. And release, please. Okay. Karith, did you have another segment that you wanted to share? Come to swastikasana with your shins crossed. And just sit down in a cross-legged position. You can just sit there while the body relaxes, the hips relax. And while Kara shares.
So one of the activities that the classical rabbis would take part in very regularly was classifying. And so it, sometimes classifying behavior, etc. And you may have heard, there's a teaching that you may have heard about for Sukkot when the rabbis, they talked about the different species that we wave on Sukkot representing different people. So it comes out of that same different types of people that they were categorizing into. One type of person is like this, one type of person is like that. So it's the same sort of a teaching that comes to us from Avot. And the rabbis wrote that there are 4 midot, 4 qualities that exist in people. So they're saying people can be one of these 4 ways. And they say there are those who say, what is mine, and what is yours. There are those who say, what is mine is yours, and what is yours is also mine. There are those who say, what is mine is yours, and what is yours is yours. And there are those who say, what is mine, what is mine is mine, and what is yours is also mine. So, what's interesting about this to me is that when the rabbis talk about midot, they're talking about pretty much inherent qualities that we have within ourselves. And the way that this is presented is like you are going to, as a person, fall into one of these categories. And the reason that seems clear to me from this is that when we work with midot, it's like I don't know, if you're a very, very, very generous person, you would have like a prescription to maybe develop some boundaries. Like if you were generous to the point where you were actually hurting yourself, right? That would be the midah, the characteristic that you would want to work on to develop. And vice versa. Like if you didn't give at all, you might want to develop some chesed, some compassion, and that would be your kind of prescription for a midot practice. So it's interesting to me that this characteristic of ownership, maybe, or we might call it entitlement in today's kind of language, that the rabbis saw this as like an inherent quality and that you were one way or the other. Another 4 different kinds of people, we hear about at Passover, right? The 4 children. And I'm sure that those kind of characters are really, really familiar to us. And they are also presented very much so as these unique characteristics. I think it's really easy for us when we look at those figures of the 4 children, it's really easy for us to see that we sometimes may fall into any of those categories on a given day. And so I think our impetus is to say, I want to be the wise child, or or I am the wise child. I identify with that wise child, or I identify with the person who is giving and pious in this instance. And I think it's really important for us to see that at any moment we could be any of those things, and to just know for the day, for the time, for the minute, for the moment, what is the prescription that we need to give to ourselves at this time? What midah, what characteristic is it that we need to nurture and embrace to create balance within our own selves?
Thank you, Kevin. It's always so nice to listen to these teachings. So many reminders, right? It's wonderful. Thank you. Okay. I think we are almost time there, so you can lie down in Shavasana for a little bit while Carrot sets up for Havdalah.
I should probably keep a little clock near my computer screen when Amit is teaching us, because I truly lose track of time.
I do too sometimes.
Which actually is very much not like me. I'm very regimented when it comes to time. So Amit, thank you for taking us out of time. But Havdalah is a moment for us to mark passage of time. And I don't know if you can see here, but I have a brand new candle because I think this is the third candle we've gone through together since since we began Torah Yoga on Zoom. So let's join together as we mark the passage of leaving Shabbat and entering another week. A week, hopefully, where we recognize what our own gifts are, where when we don't take what doesn't belong to us, as Amit said so beautifully, that jewels just come into our presence. I know that all of you are the jewels that are in my presence. חטאותינו ימחול, זרענו וכספנו ירבה כחול, והכל חייבים בלילה. שבוע טוב, 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 שבוע טוב. A good week, a week of peace, may gladness reign and joy increase. A good week, a week of peace, may gladness reign and joy increase. Shavua Tov, everybody. We'll see you next week. Thank you so much for joining.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you so much.
Much.
That was wonderful. Torah Yoga. Thank you.
Thanks.
Oh, that was great. Kareth, we were surprised you killed an entire glass of wine. Hopefully it wasn't too expensive.
Steve, you're gonna kick out of this. I almost said something as I tasted it. I was like, "Why am I using this for Havdalah?" It's still.
I was curious to know if the taste changes after you put the flame in.
Oh, you don't drink it anymore.
Oh, you don't? Okay. Oh, see, I didn't know that. Okay, so it's done. Okay.
Yeah.
I was wondering about that.
Steve, I feel your pain.
Yeah. I was thinking that was pretty funny. I go, we noticed, Scott, that which glass you picked. You were like, which glass? Like, okay. All right. See you guys next week.
Thanks. Debbie, I just wanted to let you know, check your email, please.
Okay.
Because I've sent a different login, and that's carried to for my other classes. You're going to use Zoom, not the other thing. So I've sent you a link for Zoom.
Oh, okay. Zoom is easier.
Yeah, for my other classes. Okay.
Okay.
So
So
please
do we
check.
have to have a log every day? We have to have a meeting, a password, or no?
No, it's the same. So just check the email. It'll be the same login.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay.
Thank you so much. Thanks, Garrett.
Yeah, thank you. I have to teach tomorrow and for a number of Sundays coming up, so unfortunately I won't be able to join you. But either
No worries, Garrett. Whenever it works for you. No pressure. Okay.
you.
Bye. Thanks so much. Bye-bye. Bye.